The moment the private jet touched down in Ouagadougou, a hush fell over the crowd. The world watched, breath held, as two men stepped out, Vladimir Putin, the stoic and calculating leader of Russia, and Ibrahim Traoré, the young, enigmatic president of Burkina Faso. But what no one expected was what would unfold in the shadows that very night. A secret encounter that would shake the course of history and reveal the fragile human ties beneath political power. Introduction. Setup. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a molten orange glow across the dusty streets of Ouagadougou. The air was thick with the scent of earth and distant fires, mingled with the faint aroma of spiced food from bustling market stalls. Children's laughter echoed faintly in the distance, a fragile soundtrack to a city that bore the weight of decades of hardship and hope. Ibrahim Traoré stood tall yet unassuming, his sharp eyes reflecting the resilience of a nation scarred by conflict but yearning for renewal. At just 38, he had become a beacon for many, his youthful energy a stark contrast to the fatigue that hung over much of the continent. His weathered leather shoes tapped softly on the cracked concrete as he welcomed Putin with a nod, an acknowledgement of the complex dance between two worlds. Putin, ever the reserved strategist, surveyed the scene with a mixture of curiosity and calculation. His presence was a silent storm, a symbol of power that had reshaped global politics for decades. But beneath the iron gaze, few noticed the subtle flicker of something else, perhaps weariness, perhaps a longing for understanding beyond the walls of Kremlin strategy rooms. The air between the two was taut with unspoken histories, colonial shadows, economic ambitions, and the precarious balance of influence. Yet, on this rare visit, the political chessboard gave way to moments that would defy expectation. Conflict or challenge introduced. That evening, as the leaders retreated to the presidential guest house, a quiet figure appeared, a young woman, named Aicha, her presence almost ethereal in the candlelit hallways. Aicha was neither politician nor diplomat. She was a community organizer and healer, carrying the weight of countless stories from the villages around Burkina Faso. Her dark eyes held the kind of pain that only survival could carve, a story of loss, displacement, and a silent strength few could fathom. Her task was simple yet profound, to bridge a gap not easily crossed. She had been asked to guide the two men through the heart of Burkina Faso's struggles, not with speeches or reports, but through stories, people, and places that no international summit could reach. The tension was palpable as Putin met her gaze, a rare crack in his armor. Ibrahim watched silently, sensing that this encounter could become the pivot on which the night would turn. Rising tension and emotional exchange. The next day, Aicha led Putin and Traoré through the dusty villages where children played amid cracked earth, where women wove baskets with hands toughened by decades of toil, and where elders recited songs that told of resilience and pain. Putin, initially skeptical, found himself drawn into conversations he never expected. He listened to a mother who had lost her son to violence, her voice trembling but resolute. He watched as Ibrahim comforted a young boy orphaned by war, cradling his small hand in a gesture of quiet promise. The three of them sat beneath a giant baobab tree, its twisted branches reaching to the sky like ancient arms embracing the earth. There, Aicha spoke of dreams, not just political or economic, but human dreams of peace, dignity, and belonging. Putin, for the first time in years, felt a strange stirring, a mixture of guilt and hope that transcended borders. Midpoint revelation. Or twist. As night fell, a mysterious visitor arrived, a weathered old man known as Baba Koulibaly, a spiritual elder and keeper of secrets. Baba carried a worn leather satchel containing an ancient artifact, a small carved wooden figure said to possess the power to reveal hidden truths. He approached the two leaders and Aicha with a solemn expression. "This," he said, holding up, "the figure is a key, not to doors of stone but to the doors within your hearts. With a slow, deliberate gesture, Baba invited both Putin and Traoré to hold the figure. As their fingers touched the cool wood, visions flooded their minds, memories and futures intertwined in a tapestry of shared humanity. Putin saw flashes of his own childhood, the losses and betrayals that shaped him. He glimpsed the faces of the Burkina Faso people, their joys and sorrows. Traoré saw his ancestors' struggles and the heavy mantle of leadership pressing down on his young shoulders. The artifact revealed a startling truth. Despite the vast differences, their destinies were inexplicably linked by threads of history, sacrifice, and the possibility of redemption. Climax. Emotional breakthrough. Overwhelmed, Putin withdrew to a quiet room, the weight of visions settling heavily upon him. He stared. At his reflection, a man hardened by power but suddenly fragile beneath the surface. Ibrahim found him there, their eyes meeting not as rivals but as weary travelers on a difficult journey. "You are not alone," Ibrahim said softly. "We carry burdens, yes, but also hope." In that moment, Putin allowed a rare crack of vulnerability to emerge, a tear, the first in years, tracing a silent path down his cheek. Outside, Aisha and Baba waited, the night alive with the possibility of change, resolution, and quiet closure. The following morning brought a quiet dawn, the sky washed in gentle pinks and golds. The three, Putin, Traoré, and Aisha, stood together beneath the baobab, the carved figure resting between them like a bridge. Words were few, but the air was heavy with understanding. The journey had not erased decades of history or political complexities, but it had planted seeds of empathy, connection, and a fragile hope for a different future. As the sun rose higher, the city awoke, children laughing in the streets, elders humming songs of resilience. The leaders departed, carrying with them a silent pact to remember the human stories behind every headline. And somewhere, in the heart of Burkina Faso, a mysterious thread had been woven, one that would ripple far beyond what anyone could foresee. Call to action. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.